We are live.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, we're live. So it's Mike, Gabriel, and Dan, and we are live.
Hello.
For weekend collaboration. Today is Saturday, August 25, 2018, and yeah, Peter just joined us.
Hi guys.
Hey, Peter.
Hi.
Hey, Peter.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, nice.
All right.
I was hoping you will join.
Yeah, finally I could actually.
Yeah, nice. So Matt is not with us today. He's out on vacation, and yeah, and how it is, I'm the only guy on week 2 here. I don't know how far you're gone with the course, Gabriel. Peter, we have Gabriel with us. Gabriel and Dan. I know you've met Dan, but not Gabriel.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm on the Sinatra homework and need also to find somebody who is doing the pairing programming on the first homework and the Sinatra too. But first I need to finish the first one.
Yeah, I'm on Sinatra as well.
Oh, you passed over to week 2.
Yes, I've gone through the videos and the lections, and that's my points where I need to go on with somebody.
Oh, okay. You've started anything on it? Or maybe we can just start on the week 2 again. I don't mind going over it again, but though I've moved a few inches on it. But since Dan is getting started on Sinatra and Gabriel is getting started on Sinatra, I think it will be good for Dan and Gabriel to drive maybe, and we go through the week 2.
All right, good.
Yeah. So
I kind of got a head start on the Sinatra, so I've already done a few methods. So maybe Gabriel, if you want to start out driving,
yeah.
probably be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just opened Sinatra on Cloud9. I'm on AWS, and where are you? On which ID?
Sorry.
I'm on AWS Cloud9. So.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, okay, nice. I've seen some other guys. They are on the original Cloud9, and there are some slight differences you have to mention.
Yeah. Did you have trouble setting up your Heroku?
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple people did. I saw in the Agile Ventures Slack, and I had the same thing where I followed the directions for Ruby on Heroku and didn't quite work out. So
yeah, I had to change the version of the NVM. So and then install Heroku, make an update on the NPM packages, and then it worked.
Yeah, same thing for me. I found a thread that went over that. So
all right. Yeah, if somebody's stuck too, so we can give them a hand or explain the solution. So what's the structure? It's my first weekend.
So I was just going to talk about that. So normally what we do is maybe we get to the page, like the GitHub page where we have the we have the instructions, and we take turns to read through the instructions. I will read 1 or 2 paragraphs, then someone else reads 1 or 2 paragraphs, but the person driving is the one who shares the screen and controls the page that we are reading. If there's any question, maybe you can just shoot it out. There is no order in asking question. I think you can just shoot and ask a question, and yeah, and that's basically it. And maybe we will take turns in driving as it goes. Yeah.
Okay. So, Gabriel, I assume you're on the part 1 of the Sinatra, or are you still on part 0? I guess you're on part 1, right? Since you've got the Heroku set up and everything.
Hello.
Okay, now I'm talking. I'm on part 4. So
Oh, part 4. Okay.
We can go through the other points that it's clear that's actually what happens in the program, about the structure and so on. So that would be good. So I can see the hello world, but I'm stuck in this position where you need to root the action that you can see the button that you can start the game. So that's the point where I am.
So since Gabriel, you're in part 4, what part are you in, Dan?
Well, I am in part 1, so I guess I should. We could start there.
Okay.
I'm just at the end of part 1, I think. So let's see. So let me see where I'm at. Okay, so yeah, I'm implementing all the methods, and let's take a look at the spec where I'm at. So everything is, you can see on my you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got it to where everything that I've changed from pending is passed right now. So I've implemented guess, and I've implemented the display word with guesses method. So I can show you the last one that I did, the word with guesses method. It's just a one-liner. I got it down to 1 line after messing with it for a bit, because I found this gsub method of string, which I can pass a regex expression that has the guesses included in it, and it subs anything that's not in guesses with a dash, and so that works to get all the output that we wanted from that test. Now and go back to spec, the Hankperson game spec, and undo all the pending from this one, describe game status. It's kind of hard to see in the split screen. I'm on my laptop and I'm usually using my PC, so I apologize if the display is kind of not great.
I think it's fine. It's cool.
Okay, so let's remove these. See if they just magically pass.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Then we
Yeah,
have
that'd
some
be a
issues.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So the game status should be win when all letters have been guessed. Status should be lose after 7 incorrect guesses, and status should continue play if it's neither win or lose. Okay. So looks like the method we're trying to implement is check win or lose, right? Okay. So after 7 incorrect guesses, we should change to lose. So I think that if it's neither win or lose, it should be play, right? So let's go ahead and return play. Okay, so now it should be lose after 7 incorrect guesses. So wrong guesses, the length would be 7. So return lose if wrong guesses length. Then equal to 7. Okay. And I'd like to return win. Oh, if all the letters are guessed. So if all the letters are guessed, word with guesses will equal to word. So I think we just check for that. When all the letters are guessed is failing. So let's see what we got. Error, name error.
The win
Oh,
is a
right.
symbol. Yep. Then you got
Gotcha.
it. Sorry.
Okay. So we're good with that. we have any more tests to inspect? No. So I guess we are done with part 1.
Yeah, let's check the brief. That was the only thing to do in part 1.
Sorry guys, I'll be on somehow mute so long. I have a situation here. So yeah.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. And Dan, I really likes the G-sub method.
Oh yeah.
It solves what I did with
Me too. Me too.
7 lines.
Yep. Yep. It worked good. So I think it was just sometimes we get lucky and we find a method that's exactly what we want in the implemented in the class. So
Definitely.
okay, continue in this manner. Removing pending to true. Okay, so this is what we did. We got a debugging tip. We can use by bug. We didn't really need it.
During these sessions, we usually use pry sometimes instead of the by bug. Actually, it's another tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I have pry up here, as you can see. I was using it earlier when I was doing that. It's like right before we started, when I was implementing the word with guesses.
Yeah, let's see.
So there's the debugging tip, and then it's telling us about this curl. I've already read this. I don't know if y'all have, but if y'all have, then I won't go over it again.
Yeah, you can fetch the words with this statement.
Yep. Okay, so good stuff. I think we're ready to move on to part 2, right?
Let's do it.
Okay. Part 2 is just reading and background info for part 3. So goal is to understand how to expose your app's behaviors as RESTful actions in a SaaS environment, and how to preserve game state across stateless HTTP requests to your app using the app server's provided abstraction for cookies. So what I will do, create a Sinatra app, Hang Person game logic developed in the previous part, allowing you to play Hang Person via browser. Unlike a shrink-wrapped app, SaaS runs over a stateless HTTP protocol, with each HTTP request causing something to happen in the app. And because HTTP is stateless, we must think carefully about the following 2 questions. What is the total state needed in order for the next HTTP request to pick up where the previous game request left off? And what are the different game actions? And how should HTTP requests map to those actions? Okay. A widely used mechanism for maintaining state between a browser and a SaaS server is a cookie. The server can put whatever it wants in a cookie, up to bytes. The browser promises to send the cookie back to the server on each subsequent request. Since each user's browser gets its own cookie, the cookie can effectively be used to maintain per user state. In most SaaS apps, the amount of information associated with a user session is too large to fit into the 4 KB allowed in a cookie. So as we'll see in Rails, the cookie information is more often used to hold a pointer to a state that lives in the database. But for this simple example, the game state is small enough that we can keep it directly in the session cookie. Enumerate the minimal game state that must be maintained during the game of hang person. All right, so I think we're going to need to basically we're going to need to maintain these states of all these attributes, word guesses and wrong guesses, right?
Yeah, I think that's that sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take a look. Secret word, the guesses, and the wrong guesses. Conveniently, the well-factored hang person game class encapsulate this state using its instance variables. Okay. Game is a RESTful resource. Enumerate the player actions that could cause changes in the game state. So let's see, the player can start a game. It can guess. They can guess a letter, and that's it. It just keeps checking input, right, until it changes to lose or win, right?
Yep. Yep, these are the states.
Guess a letter, start a new game. Okay. In a service-oriented architecture, we do not expose internal state directly. Instead, we expose a set of HTTP requests that either display or perform some operation on a hypothetical underlying resource. The trickiest and most important part of RESTful design is modeling what your resources are and what operations are possible on them. Okay. All right, I gotta read that to myself again. Right, okay.
Do you want me to read the next paragraph?
Sure.
Cool. So in our case, we can think of the game itself as the underlying resource. Doing so results in some important design decisions about how routes, URLs will map to actions and about the game code itself. Since we have already identified the game state and player actions that could change it, it makes sense to define the game itself as a class. An instance of that class is a game and represents a resource being manipulated by our SaaS app.
I can read the next. Mapping resource routes to HTTP requests.
Okay, sure.
Mapping resource routes to HTTP requests. Our initial list of operations on the resource might look like this. where we've also given a suggestive name to each action. 1 is create a new game. 2 is show status of the current game. 3 is guess a letter. Then we have a self-check question. For good RESTful design, which of the resource operations should be handled by HTTP GET and which ones should be handled by HTTP POST?
Okay. Now I remember. This is, I think, where we left off last time. So what should be post is going to be something that would change the internal state, right? So, well, something that needs to create,
Yeah.
and guess would be post. Show, since it doesn't really need any input from the user, is a get request. Is that right?
Yeah. Show is a get, then guess and create is a post. I agree. Operations handled with get should not have side effects on the resource, so show can be handled by a get, but create and guess, which modify the game state, should use post. In fact, in a true service-oriented architecture, we can also choose to use other HTTP verbs like put and delete, but we won't cover that in this assignment.
Okay.
Gabriel, you want to read? Or I just keep on?
Yes, yeah. HTTP is a request protocol, and the web browser is fundamentally a request reply user interface. So each action by the user must result in something being displayed by the browser. For the show status of current game action, it's pretty clear that what we should show is the HTML representation of the current game as the word with guesses method of our game class does. In a fancier implementation, we would arrange to draw an image of part of the hanging person. I think it's implemented in JavaScript somewhere. I've seen it to this part, the drawing. So I read on. But when the player guesses a letter, whether the guess is correct or not, what should be HTML representation of the result of that action? Which is correct or not? What should... Answering this question is where the design of many web apps falters. Should I go on, or should we discuss this question?
I think I'll probably go on to explain, right?
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of gameplay, what probably makes most sense is after the player submits a guess, display the new game state resulting from the guess. But we already have a RESTful action for displaying the game state. So we can plan to use an HTTP redirect to make use of that action. This is an important distinction because an HTTP redirect triggers an entirely new HTTP request. Since the new request does not know that what letters was guessed. All of the responsibility for changing the game state is associated with the guess a letter RESTful action. And all of the responsibility for displaying the current state of the game without changing it is associated with the display status action. This is quite different from a scenario in which the guess a letter action also displays the game state, because in that case, the game display action would have access to what letter was guessed. Good RESTful design will keep these responsibilities separate so that each RESTful action does exactly one thing. A similar argument applies to the create new game action. The responsibility of creating a new game object rests with that action, no pun intended. But once the new game object is created, we already have an action for displaying the current game state. So May I ask what does he mean with
Okay.
no pun intended? No.
Sorry.
No pun intended. This
Yeah.
Jay.
Daniel, you want to
rest.
pick up from there?
Yeah. It's saying the pun on restful.
Okay.
It rests with that action.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So we can start mapping our RESTful actions in terms of HTTP requests as follows, using some simple URIs for the routes.
Okay, so we have a table of route in action, the resource operation, and the web result. And it's like a one-to-one mapping between all those things. I think that's kind of the point of the RESTful operations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just continue reading. In a true service-oriented architecture, we'd be nearly done, but a site experience through a web browser is not quite a true service-oriented architecture. Why? Because a human web user needs a way to post a form. A GET can be accomplished by just typing a URL into the browser's address bar, but a post can only happen when the user submits an HTML form, or as we'll see later, when AJAX code in the JavaScript triggers an HTTP action. So to start the game, we actually need to provide the user a way to post a form that will trigger the post/create action. You can think of the resource in question as the opportunity to create a new game. So we can add another row to our table of routes. Okay. Similarly, how does the user generate the post for guessing a new letter? Since we already have an action for displaying the current game state, it would be easy to include on that same HTML page a guess a letter form that, when submitted, generates the post/guess action. We will see this pattern mirrored later in Rails. A typical resource, such as the information about a player, will create and update operations. But to allow a human being to provide the data used to create or update a player record, we will have to provide new and edit actions, respectively, that allow the user to enter the information in HTML form. So why is it appropriate for the new action to use GET rather than POST?
Because it just displays a form.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. It renders the form.
Yeah. Doesn't cause any state change. It just returns a form that the player can submit. It explained why the GET new action wouldn't be needed if your Hang Person game was called as a service in a true service-oriented architecture. This is because there's no human interaction. So the user of the service can just simply call the
Yeah, it's kind of it's a tricky question, I think, in this sense. So I think, yeah, you will only reach the endpoint in this case. You don't need an interim. Yeah, like you said, the form basically. So the create method or the new method, sorry, because you can directly call the create.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But let's see what's the answer. How they describe it.
In true SOA, the service that calls hang person can generate an HTTP post request directly. The only reason for the new action is to provide the human web user a way to generate that request. Lastly, when the game is over, whether win or lose, we shouldn't be accepting any more guesses. Since we're planning for our show page to include a letter guess form, perhaps we should have a different type of show action when the game has ended. One that does not include a way for the player to guess a letter, but perhaps does include a button to start a new game. We can even have separate pages for winning and losing, both of which give the player a chance to start a new game. Since the show action can certainly tell if the game is over, it can conditionally redirect to the win or lose action when called. The routes for each of the RESTful actions in the game based on the description of what the route should do.
So there we have show game state, allow player to enter, guess, redirect, win or lose. That's a get for sure. Then we have display form that generates post create, get new, display a form that generates post create. That's a get new. Start a new game, redirects to show game after changing the state, post create. Process guess, redirects to show game after changing state, post guess. Show you win page with button to start new game. That's a get win. Show you lose page with button to restart new game, get lose. The summary of design. You may be itchy about not writing any code yet, but you have finished the most difficult and important task, defining the application's basic resources and how the RESTful routes will map them to actions in a SaaS app. To summarize, we already have a class that encapsulates the game itself, which with instance variables that capture the game's essential state and instance methods that operate on it when the player makes guesses. In the model view controller paradigm, it's our model. Using Sinatra, we will expose on the model via RESTful HTTP requests. We'll expose operations on the model via RESTful HTTP request. In MVC, this is our controller. We will create HTML views and forms to represent the game state, to allow submitting a guess, to allow starting a new game, and to display messages when the player wins or loses. In MVC, these are our views. Note that Sinatra does not really enforce or any other design pattern. Does not really enforce MVC or any other design pattern. If anything, it's closest to the page. It's closest to the page controller pattern, where we explicitly match up each RESTful request with an HTML view, but it's the same. It's a simple enough framework that we can use to implement MVC in this app, since we have only one model. As we'll see later, more powerful MVC-focused frameworks like Rails are much more productive for creating apps that have many types of models. Yep.
Okay. And that's part 2.
Yep.
Let's go.
Oops.
I can read it. If you want to. Part 3, connecting HangPerson game to Sinatra. You have already met Sinatra. Here's what's new in the Sinatra app skeleton app.rb that we provide for HangPerson. Before do end is a block code executed before every SaaS request. After do end is executed after every SaaS request. the calls ERB action calls Sinatra to look for the file views action.rb and run them through the embedded Ruby processor, which looks for constructions. The embedded Ruby construction executes the Ruby code inside and substitutes the result. The code is executed in the same context as the code to ERB, so the code can see any instance variable set up in the get or post blocks. Self-check question. At game, in this context, is an instance variable of what class?
In this context, is an instance variable of what class? So I'd say the hang person game class, right?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Hang person app.
Mm-hmm.
It's an instance variable, the hang person app class in the app.rb file. Okay. Remember, we are dealing with two Ruby classes here. Hang person game encapsulates the game logic itself. Hang person app encapsulates the logic that lets us deliver the game as SAS. Okay. You can roughly think of it as the controller logic plus the ability to render the views via ERB. So
Yep. I think that's right. It's an object of hang person game class, but it's an instance variable of hang person app.
okay.
So one is the model, and the hang person app seems to be the controller object plus
Yep.
view.
Okay. Okay, this session, we've already identified the items necessary to maintain game state and encapsulated them in a game class. Since HTTP is stateless, when a new HTTP request comes in, there's no notion of the current game. What we need to do, therefore, is save the game object in some way between requests. If the game object were large, we'd probably store it in a database on the server and place an identifier to the correct database record into the cookie. In fact, as we'll see, that's exactly what Rails apps do. But since our game state is small, we can just put the whole thing in a cookie. Sinatra's session library lets us do this. In the context of a Sinatra app, anything we place into the special magic hash session is preserved across requests. In fact, objects placed there are serialized into text-friendly form that is preserved for us. This behavior is switched on by the Sinatra call enable sessions in app.rb. There is one other session-like object we will use. In some cases above, one action will perform some state change and then redirect to another action, such as when the guess triggered by post guess redirects to the show action, get show, to redisplay the game state after each guess. But what if the guess action wants to display a message to the user, such as to inform them that they have erroneously repeated a guess? The problem is that since every request is stateless, we need to get that message across the redirect. Yes. And we need to preserve the game state across HTTP requests. To do this, we use the Sinatra Flash gem, which you can see in the gem file. Flash is a hash for remembering short messages that persist until the very next request, usually a redirect, and are then erased. Why does this save work compared to just storing those messages in a session hash?
Don't forget the session is limited.
Yeah, I remember I had problems understanding this question. I think why does this save work compared to just storing these messages in the session hash?
So the session is limited, right?
Yeah.
So anything you can leave out just for the sake of showing. You probably should. So if this is just if you don't want to carry over any kind of state because it's not needed, then you don't store it in the session.
Yes.
If you need that session or if you need that data to carry through and you want to put it in the, then that's the only reason why you should put it in the session. To basically carry over state.
So since we're not using it after the next request.
Exactly.
We should it's better to keep in the flash rather than the session.
Yeah.
Okay. When we put something in the session, it stays there till we delete it. So common case for a message that must survive a redirect. So that should only be shown once. Flash includes extra functionality of erasing the messages after the next request. Running the Sinatra app. As before, run the shell command bundle exec rackup -p port -oip to start the app. Or bundle exec rerun rackup. If you want to rerun the app each time you make a code change. Okay.
Yep. I don't know if okay, I've just run that and it's on port 9292 here. So I don't know if Gabriel wants to read.
Yes, yeah. So self-check question. Based on the output from running this command, what is the full URL you need to visit in order to visit the new game page? This is your verified start new game page appears. Oh, it's the.
So are we running this command in the hang person app directory or the? Yeah, it's got to be the hang person app, right?
Yeah.
We need this config. But they're just saying to rerun it like we did in the section 0, and not make any changes to the app, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're good here.
Yeah. Because mine, I don't know how you cloned, but I'm working on the local, and when I look at my working directory, I'm in the homework Sinatra SAS hang person.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm not in the hang person app.
So you run it from this, right?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, the next folder in your directory. The second app. Sinatra says hang person. Yeah, it's the right folder.
Okay, so we're in the correct directory.
Yeah.
So this already has. Oh, right. So this is already set up. Can I just open this? And I haven't looked at any of this stuff, so.
Yeah.
You in AWS, you can run the command, and then a pop-up window will show you the URL to the app.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it's guess we'll run this one. It's fancier.
Yeah, if you make changes, you just need to refresh the window.
Okay. And here's the URL, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
You can open it. Just click on it and then, yeah. Oh, like this.
Okay.
All right.
And that redirects the new.
Let's wait.
Yeah,
I'm not that
redirects
far.
to
It doesn't show. It doesn't show it to me.
Do what? Okay. So based on the output, what is the full URL you need to visit in order to visit the new game page? And it's that URL plus a /new. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just did it actually.
Okay.
Let me just do mine here. I thought I was running you.
Yeah, I got a mistake in my code. So when I try the new, call the new method, doesn't appear. You can change it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mine. Yeah. Though I'm working on my local host, and it goes to the same /new. So
Oops. Where's the HTML code for this page?
new.erb.
New.erb. Okay.
View.
View/new.erb.
Yeah. Views.
Yeah.
So verify that when you click on the new game button, you get an error. Verify that when you click on the have you clicked on the new game button? Done.
Sinatra doesn't know this, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Diddy?
Diddy is like a song. It's like a slang for. It's like an old school. They used it
Okay.
back in Sinatra's day. It is.
Is it a Texas slang?
No, it's like a New York.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. So.
Little Diddy.
Oh yeah. This is, verify that when you click on the new button, you get an error. This is because we've deliberately left the form that encloses this button incomplete. We haven't specified where the form should post to. We'll do that next, but we'll do it in a test-driven way. But first, let's get our app onto Heroku. This is actually a critical step. We need to ensure that our app will run on Heroku before we start making significant changes. first run bundle install to make sure our gem file and gemfile.loc are in sync. Next, type git add, and then git commit, and Heroku login authenticate, then Heroku create.
Yeah, we can go through that steps together.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a bundle install.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was quick.
Git add dot. Yeah.
You know these git commands, right? So we don't need to go through those, or?
Ready for
Heroku.
Heroku.
Now,
Oh.
yeah. Ah, it worked.
Okay. Type Heroku login.
Have you logged in then on this computer to Heroku before from the CLI, from the command line?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's gonna maybe this.
Yeah, that's the mistake I also have conquered.
I think this so you logged in through the web, right? But not from the command line. If you just type in Heroku-v, we can check if the CLI is installed. No, probably not. So,
but
yeah.
I already did seem to do it.
Maybe it's yeah. Sorry, we are in a cloud environment. I forgot. Yep. So
yeah,
that might be an issue then.
I had the same issue, and the solution was to change the NVM version to V8 and install Heroku. Then it's updated. I can show you the commands.
It's NVM install V8, right?
Yeah, V8, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then
NVM.
install.
What was it? Install Heroku?
Yeah, dash G Heroku.
Dash G?
G, yeah. Heroku. Okay, you can try Heroku login. Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, I forgot with my suggestions that we are on AWS and not on local.
Yeah.
That's why I was like wondering how the hell is not working, but then oops.
The battery.
Yep.
Where are we?
Instructions. So
Heroku create.
Yep. Then type git push Heroku master.
Just one tip: if you don't want to, so if you want to give a custom name to your repo on Heroku, basically, or your instance, you can give a name. So if you don't give a name, then Heroku will generate a random word on the dashboard, and sometimes it's hard to find actually which app it was that. But if you want to give a name, like, I don't know, hang person, whatever, then it's gonna create that.
Okay, how does it work?
Okay.
Now I cannot see because
You can change the screen.
oh, you don't need the double dash name. I'm saying on my it's just Heroku create and then the string.
Okay.
Like the numbers, like the characters. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
No way.
Just choose
Yeah.
something,
That's
choose something
exactly about it. Yeah,
that's generic, yeah.
like person.
Generic.
It has to be unique over all the apps
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's using Diddy in their name, so
That's so weird. So,
okay. So we have let's check this out.
yep.
Welcome to my new app.
Hang person Diddy.
Diddy. Nice.
It's useful when you want to share with employers or you know, so it's better to share
Yeah.
like a link that than XYZ blah 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 blah. I don't know,
Okay.
the random characters almost.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah,
Alright.
okay. So I can use this if someone maybe wants to use, like, wants an app to test, and like, okay, I see. Because normally how I've done with guys is to create a VPN and let them connect to my computer through the VPN.
Oh, so they can see the app?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I push this,
Yeah.
it'll still be git push Heroku master, right?
Yeah, master.
Yes. Hey, Matthew, what's up?
Hey,
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I was spying on you guys on the YouTube live. I'm waiting for us to get ready to leave. We're gonna go on a hike right now, and
Nice.
I thought I would pop in and just say hi.
Awesome! Awesome!
I told you
I
to
saw
carry a
you
laptop.
realized. What's that?
I told you not to carry a laptop, not to carry a
Yeah, I learned a
Before-
couple things on this trip. I learned that I still have separation anxiety for leaving my notebook in any place that's not my hands, my lap. And I learned that I can actually run Cucumber tests without internet connection. So I can actually do some work until I get yelled at for working while we're driving and not socializing enough. And yeah, also.
you shouldn't work and drive.
We're seeing about how you need a unique name on Heroku. We ran into that issue with Faith as well. So awesome. Right. I do have to get going because we're gonna go hiking. But good to see you guys.
All right.
Really happy that you guys are.
Good.
And Peter, you're
Happy
back.
climbing! Happy climbing!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you again, Peter. I'll see you guys probably not tomorrow, but I'll see you soon.
See you. See you.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a great vacation.
Okay, the build was fine.
All right. So when you
Yeah. Go ahead then.
all right. I was just reading that when you want to update Heroku later, you only need your changes to Git locally in Cloud9, then push to Heroku. Okay.
Yeah, just verify the broken functionality maybe in the end, and then we can go
Yeah.
to the next step. Probably. I don't see anything else then.
So okay. Yeah, so I just have to refresh it.
Yeah.
Since I did the Git push, then now it's functioning the same. All right.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, it says verify that it's still broken. Let's do that. Not found.
Yeah, it's a kind of broken. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, in my application, I cannot see the button. So
Really?
at sometimes we can have a look at it. If you want?
Yeah, you can share. Are you sharing?
Yeah, you can do it.
I can share.
Focus on your screen.
When I built it. I can see the Hello World example. So there must be an issue in the routing.
So this is the that so if you open up the app.rb,
yeah,
in that, what do we have?
Yeah, I just can see this part. I can see the HTML typed in here, and the new method is not called this one in person.
Okay, and then your config.ru. So it does have run hangperson app,
Okay.
but then it has run my app. Maybe just take out the run my app.
Could I? All right. Nice. Thanks.
cool.
Thank you.
Sure.
So we're on the same page? No? Works. It's a letter. All right. So we can move on. This part.
All right.
So part 4 is introducing Cucumber. I don't know. I normally work with Django to do stuff. I've not met something like Cucumber in Django. I don't know if guys.
Django?
Yeah.
Familiar with actually either, really.
Yeah.
Any of these frameworks, they're all new to me.
Okay. Yeah. So introducing Cucumber. Cucumber is a remarkable tool for writing high-level integration and acceptance tests. Terms terms with which you are already familiar. We learn, I don't know, maybe just throw it out there. What's the difference between integration test, acceptance test, and unit test?
Is it a question?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just searched for the Django question. So in the meantime, there is a library called Lettuce.
Lettuce, okay.
It's similar to Cucumber, they say. I'm not familiar with Django that much, so okay. I don't know, but search says. And so yeah, integration test is basically the high level test, is the regression test, it's basically not testing each and individual element inside of the code as separate. It tries to test the whole flow. For instance, when the user is following a certain flow of logging into an application and, for instance, adding a new article or something like that. So it's basically testing the whole app working more like that, or on a journey level, that the journey working. Meanwhile, these unit tests are way smaller. So for instance, they test like the login form is actually working or something like that. So I will try to come up with a better example. Acceptance test is more on like a requirement level. So what it's mostly, I feel, written and not really a separate test. But I can search in the book actually if they describe somehow better what are the differences. But mainly the tests are written are integration tests and unit tests. So now acceptance tests are usually added to user stories as a criteria of verifying what you are building is correct, but not really validating actually.
Okay. Nice.
If that makes sense. So integration test is an overall picture of the application to work. Unit tests are each and the individual pieces to make work.
Okay. Yes. So integration tests maybe how various units of the application work when they are brought together.
Mm-hmm.
And then acceptance tests, you said they look at what the user required, the user stories, what they wanted to be on the application, if it's what is there. Say if they wanted maybe something to be, if they wanted a logo or something. So the acceptance test will test if maybe the logo is there, something of this sort.
Yeah, maybe the logo is not a good example because it's one element, yeah. But I think the acceptance tests are more of criterias and more technical actually than experience level. So the experience level tests are usually integration tests.
Okay.
Acceptance tests are more technical and related to what when you develop the user story, what should be developed during that user story. So it's going piece by it's more related. Acceptance tests, I feel, is more related actually to unit tests and to integration tests in this sense.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. If I can go ahead and read.
In the future units, we're gonna see multiple examples on both, so don't worry.
Okay, thanks. Cucumber is a remarkable tool for writing high-level integration and acceptance tests, terms with which you are already familiar. We'll learn much more about Cucumber later, but for now, we will use it to drive the development of your app's code. Just as you used RSpec to drive the creation of the class method, you'll next use Cucumber to drive the creation of the source code. Normally, the cycle will be use Cucumber scenario to express the end-to-end behavior of a scenario. As you start writing the code to make each step of the scenario pass, use RSpec to drive creation of that steps code. Repeat until scenario steps are passing green. In this assignment, we are skipping the middle in this assignment, we are skipping the middle step since the goal is to give you an overview of all parts of the process. Also, in the first step, for your own apps, you'd be creating the Cucumber scenarios yourself. In this assignment, we provided them for you. Cucumber lets you express integration test scenarios, which you'll find in the features directory in .feature files. You'll also see a step definition subdirectory with a single file, game.steps.rb, containing the code used when each step in a scenario is executed as part of the tests. As an integration testing tool, Cucumber can be used to test almost any kind of software system as long as there is a way to simulate the system, and a way to inspect the system's behavior. You select a backend. You select a backend for Cucumber based on the end system, based on how the end system is to be simulated and inspected. Since a SaaS server is simulated by using HTTP requests, and its behavior can be inspected by looking at the HTML pages served, we configure Cucumber to use Capybara, a Ruby-based browser simulator that includes a specific language for simulating browser actions and inspecting the SaaS server's responses to those actions. Self-check questions. Read the section on using Capybara with Cucumber on Capybara's homepage. Which step definitions use Capybara to simulate the server as a browser would? Which step definition use Capybara to inspect the app's response to the stimulus?
Okay, so
okay, they've said we read the Capybara. I think Capybara with.
I just want to go back to. So the game steps.rb, is this where you find the step definitions?
Yeah.
Okay, let me open that first then. So it's in features. Don't really know what I'm looking at here, but
yeah, I think it's an early introduction, honestly, to the structure of. So that's why I think they've rewritten everything, because I think in the next week they introduce Cucumber as in details.
But it's kind of a test framework.
It is. So there is a certain structure of how Cucumber should be written. There are given when, then, and keywords basically in user stories. But you're gonna see it in the next week probably.
Okay.
So it's gonna be clear. There is a certain structure, but that's what you all need to know actually, that there's a certain structure, like every testing framework, the way you should write tests, and yeah, we will practice that a lot.
Yeah, it looks like it's written use cases. You handle it like use cases from the beginning of the application to the end, and explain it with the statements.
Yeah. I think why they chose this. There are many frameworks. What Cucumber might be easier to use, easy in a sense of it's really similar to real user stories. So you can translate an actual ticket, like a user story ticket, to a Cucumber test, and I think that's the connection between the usage and the real life meaning. It's amazing that it's coming up with animals.
Yeah, it's like maybe this YouTube video will have the this is the capybara homepage that they were talking about. Let's see. So
they have a separate, it's actually also on the homepage, they have this animal on the front actually. I'm not sure if they have it on the GitHub repo, but they have a homepage.
okay.
But it's there actually, using Capybara with Cucumber, the table of contents, as I see now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine, how does capybara with cucumber taste?
I'm not sure if they eat this, but I might be wrong. I don't know this. I've never seen this animal live.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about in South America they eat stuff like this a lot, but
Okay.
not actually capybaras, but small guinea pigs.
Oh yeah.
And I was a little bit, when I heard it, I was a little bit shocked. So.
All right, so I'm not sure what I should be looking for here.
Is it the part where they're talking about Selenium?
Which tab definition? Use capybara to inspect the app's response to the stimulus.
You can switch to the Capybara.javascript driver by tagging scenarios with JavaScript. There are also explicit tags for each registered driver.
But it's capybara is dedicated for Ruby. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter just shared something.
Yeah, I just shared another page. Actually, I wanted to show you guys the real Capybara homepage. It's this one, actually, the second link.
Okay.
The second link I posted. If you go back to the chat, this is the documentation. There's the
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So is it in documentation or?
Yeah, it's API documentation. That opens up the same page as that. Yeah, this one.
Right. It's basically it's got the same info. So, not sure how to answer the question though. When I sign in, fill in email with user example, fill in password with password.
What was the question?
So the question is, which step definitions use Capybara to simulate the server as a browser would? And which step definitions use Capybara to inspect the app's response to the stimulus?
Yes, okay. Thank you. I already forgot that.
I've got you just need to look for fill, and then it explains. So fill in, click. Yeah, here. Scenario visit, fill in. Daniel, yeah. These steps are meant, which that's the answer for the question. Visit. Fill in, then click the button.
Yeah, basically Capybara is a complete solution to imitate any user behavior. So the visit keyword is like visiting a link or going there. The within hash session is basically checking the session ID. So it's checking an HTML element on the page with the ID of session. And then inside of this HTML element, it search for email and filling in with a given string, and then clicking a button to imitate a sign-in as a user would. And then the next is basically waiting for the request to go through of the form. And then what the expect page to have content is basically, it's like written, it's what Capybara is searching for this specific word of success on the page somewhere to be present after the request went through the sign-in.
Okay. So this looks like the answer to one part, the scenario.
Maybe someone should just explain what goes on in the Capybara page, the GitHub thing we are looking at.
He was basically explaining this scenario right here, right?
Yep.
So
okay.
Can you go over that again real quick?
Yeah, sure. So the scenario title is making so you will usually have multiple scenarios of the same feature, of failing and success and all these edge cases and all these things. And basically what Capybara is capable of imitating any user interaction with the page. So the visit keyword is basically visiting a specific URL. The within keyword is searching for this HTML element on the page with the ID of session. And then inside of this HTML element fills in the email input field and the password input field with the given strings or data. And basically the click button is clicking the button with the text on it, or even it can search for the label as sign in, and then it's clicking on that one. And then it waits for the sign in request to go through to make success. And then the next step is basically Capybara is searching for the whole page if this invalid email or password string is present somewhere.
Nice. So basically, in that scenario, we are just testing the login.
Yes, exactly. So the first one is testing if someone is succeed to log in, as imitate if someone is succeed. And the next one is if someone is missing something, so there is an invalid email or password.
Okay.
Yeah, these are two different like scenarios that you can have unlimited scenarios inside of the feature.
Okay, but you have to declare the strings that are sent with yourself, or can you get that from them from a library? Or
you can get it. Yeah. There are some gems for it to do this, like faker gems, or I think in the course it's gonna be the factory girl gem. So yeah, there are gems which are generating random like credentials basically, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's should we just take a look at this answer?
Yeah. So that's it.
step actions. So you fill in or simulating a browser by visiting the page and or filling in a form. Those that use have content are inspecting the output. So I don't think we saw a have content over here.
That was the last one.
Oh, right.
So,
Expects to have content. Invalid email or password. Okay. Looking at features /guest.feature. What is the role of the 3 lines following feature heading? Okay, so this is just describing what the user expect from the program. I mean from the app, right?
Yeah, it's a user story.
The story, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Go for it. Yep.
Showing the purpose and the actors. Purpose and the actors of the story. Okay. In the same file, looking at scenario step, given I start with a new game with the word Garply, what lines in game_steps.rb will be invoked when Cucumber tries to execute this step? And what is the role of the string Garply in this step? Okay, so I guess R, then I should see R within span.word. When I guess, so it looks like this matches this case right here.
Mm-hmm.
Then what was it? When I guess R, then I should see R within span.word. Oh, good. Are these when and then things and
Then I should.
I should see.
Yeah.
Here's then I should see.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. But so why are they in this order? That it's just like
That's random, not random. So it's just the way like the way they wrote it. So inside of the feature, it doesn't matter in which order you put. In the Cucumber scenario, then it makes it, then the order counts. But inside of the steps definitions, it doesn't.
Okay. So I guess we'll eventually write something similar to this, or maybe.
What was the question?
I guess like later on, maybe we'll write.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Write these. Okay.
Guys, I need to shoot off now, but feel free to continue if you want to.
All right.
Okay, yeah. We'll move on. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See
Peter.
you.
Okay.
So maybe we can try if we can complete this section and then I don't know, because we've already done 1.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Get your first scenario to pass. We'll first get the I start a new game scenario to pass. We'll then use the same techniques to make the other scenarios pass. So take a look at the step definition for I start a new game with Word. You already saw that you can load a new game page, but get an error when clicking the button for actually creating a new game. Now you'll reproduce this behavior with a Qt scenario. Given I start a new game with Word Garply, so all right, let's just go on to the question, I guess. I don't know, what's it saying when I look? Well, it says take a look at the step definition for I start a new game with Word. So what's it having us look for here? Just take a look at it and
Yeah. When I start a new game with Word, that's like a regular expression. What does dot star do?
sorry.
When I started that with Word, dot star means 0 or more characters.
Right.
Okay, I can comment that. So when it starts with 0 or more characters, and the $ references to the string passed on from the post URL.
Sorry, where are we?
I don't know. I thought we were still checking to see what that step.
What this does?
Structure does, yeah.
So I think I may have to mute because of these people.
No problem.
So, okay, when I start a new game with Word, so, oh yeah.
So what's this code block doing?
What's a stub request to return? Is it new?
So stub request, I'm guessing, just makes one single request, post request to this service that we were using to generate the random word, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the random one generator. That's why I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it returns, yeah, the HTTP status okay.
So it looks like it's taking, yeah, the body of that of the response, the HTTP response to the post, and it is.
That's probably done by the dot after the last bracket.
Yeah, dot to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on line 13. Yeah. The body word, does it? This creates maybe okay, a body with word. Okay, yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to me.
What does this do though? I don't understand.
I think it's a special use case when you start a new game with a word, and then you click the new game button. But in this case, you don't guess, you just click new game. I think this use case is explained here with this code. When you go through it, visit new, click button new game to see just the block. Or you can do it, yeah. Just a new game without guessing. And then the next case is then the guess. But you can.
All right.
Yeah.
Oops, where am I? When the browser simulator in Capybara issues a visit new request, Capybara will do an HTTP GET to the partial URL /new on the app. Why do you think visit always does a GET rather than giving the option to do either a GET or a post in a given step? I guess it's just to simulate that the user is visiting that page rather than entering any data into the form, which would be a post, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you can try it. The Cucumber feature, start new game feature.
Like you mean run it?
Yeah, you can run it in Bash in the CLI.
Okay.
So I just start new dot feature.
Yeah. Guess
Okay. I should see guess a letter. and we got not found, right?
Yeah, we got not found.
And that was in game steps. Okay, let me just look back at this then. Then I should see. Where's the oh, right, because I'm in guest.feature instead of start new game.feature. So scenario, I start a new game. Given I'm on the home page and I press new game, I should see guess a letter. So, okay. So we just ran that.
Yeah. Now we need to debug maybe the can.
Do what?
Yeah, that
Let me go ahead and
Yeah.
move on with this. Cucumber capybara is only supposed to be able to do what a human user can do. So as we discussed earlier, the only way a human user can cause it to happen via a web browser is submitting an HTML form, which is accomplished by the click button in Capybara. Okay. And then we actually did run cucumber feature / new game feature dot feature. We didn't get an error. The scenario fails because the form tag in views.new.erb view/new.erb is incorrect and incomplete in the information that tells the browser what URL to post the form to. Based on a table of routes we developed in an earlier section, fill in the form tags attributes appropriately. You can inspect what happens for various routes in the app.rb but to edit this file yet. If you get stuck, take a look at show.erb for a similar example of a filled in form tag.
yeah, you could have a look
Okay.
at
Yeah.
the structured views. Yeah.
Use a destination URL as well as a method.
Yeah. And
Okay.
in the file show,
it's based on the root.
Maybe we should add the action.
Yeah. You can see an example in show.erb on the left. Yeah. And in the last block, there is an example how the action is integrated.
Form action equals /guess method equals post. Right. So we need the action attribute.
Yeah.
And it should match the root that we came up with earlier, right? So
Yeah, it's in app.rb, the action.
do what? It's in app.rb.
Yeah, the method.
Okay.
You can find it there.
So we want create.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, create. Yeah.
Action equals create.
Yeah, double quotes.
Let me look at this one again. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So I also done it this way.
Action equals, okay, it's a string with a slash.
All right.
So I think I actually
I think you haven't pushed it up there yet. I think you should just test it.
sorry, what, Mike?
Yeah, I was saying like, yeah, we need to run this.
Okay, well, it's passing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
the test is passed. Nice.
I done?
Yeah.
I think I missed the last bit. My connection.
Oh, sorry.
I left so the test.
So I ran the cucumber test again.
Okay.
And everything passing. Can you see it?
Yeah. Greens, banana leaves.
Oh yeah.
Banana leaves.
What's the red?
Yeah.
Blood.
Zombies.
Yeah, he's got it.
All right.
So where we? I can read this.
Yeah.
Where,
I think the next step is we need to redirect. We need to redirect the browser to the show action. Create.
redirect the browser. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, we've done that views herb, this upper block. So let's just go ahead.
So to create new game code, the app should do the following. Call the hang person game class method, get random word, create a new instance of the hang person game using that word, read the show action. Okay.
Yeah, I think they redirect me.
You how these steps are actualized in the app.rb under the post/create do route. So
Great. All right. So we sure.
sorry, should I want to talk about this one or?
Yeah, absolutely. So it calls the method get random word from the class hang person game, the create method, and it calls the new method from the hang person game and injects the word in the new method at game. And now we need to implement the show down there. When you scroll down on line 50, there is a show method. And I think we need to implement this one.
Okay.
Isn't that an implementation already, the ERB show?
So we need to implement it like this create is implemented in the same way, right? Or
yeah,
I mean,
I've read
obviously it's going to do.
Yeah. When you read the 5 lines above, it's saying
how is new implemented? What's the new method?
Use existing message in a hang person game to check if player has won, lost, or neither, and then take the appropriate action. Notice that the show.erb template expects to use the instance variable wrongs in word with guesses from at game.
Maybe redirect the browser to the show action. Maybe it's just in the browser. You call the URL to show. We've done that.
Hey Dan.
Yeah.
I know that it's the new method that's already working for us. Where when we go to localhost, we can see.
Yeah, if you look at the URL, it says /show. So
okay.
So that's, like you said, it's the new method that's working for us. New. When you try it in the browser.
We need to add in. Sorry, I'm lost. I don't know.
Okay, I'm at the point, redirect the browser to the show action when you open the URL in your browser, the app that you already started. When you change the, okay, can I share my screen? All right. So the app is running. I call the show action, and that's meant where we are, show, this one, and it's already working for us. So if I go here, that's meant with the show action, redirect the browser to the show action. So it's working. I click new game also. A new word is taken from the URL and.
So how do I get my browser back?
Right, try it.
You should run the refresh command, you remember?
Run the refresh command. In the command line? Oh, the hang person class message.
Yeah, that's where we are. View how these steps are actualized in the app RB file under the post create to route.
Yeah. So we saw that. And then stage and commit all files on locally on Cloud9. Okay. We're on this step already?
You remember the rackup task? I don't know. The rackup command, which could refresh the, I think you ran it. I don't know if it's what we need to run.
What do we implement the, so what change did we do to the commit?
What changes?
Modified the new, updated new auth,
Yeah,
added the action to new.erp. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, now it says git push Heroku master to deploy to Heroku again. Okay.
You have pushed.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
There is the first cucumber test passing.
Yeah. Okay.
What's
Significance.
the self-check question?
Yeah.
What is the significance of using given versus when versus then in the feature file? What happens if you switch them around? Conduct a simple experiment to find out, then confirm your results using Google.
Well, I think we've already established if you switch them around, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. Actually, does it mean switch them around, like change the given to a when? Or does it mean switch them, like switch the order of how they're written in the file?
I think it's the order.
Yeah, I think it's just placeholder, and then you could always say then, or end. It doesn't matter in a logical way, but in the meaning changes for you as you read it as a human being. But for the interpreter, for the test framework, it doesn't change.
Okay. Yeah. They're all aliases for the same method. Which one we use to determine what makes the scenario most readable.
Okay.
All right.
Develop the scenario for guessing a letter. For this scenario, haha, someone joined us. Faith.
Oh, Faith?
Ah, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
We said,
I'm just passing by.
okay.
Hi, Passabai. Yeah, just to give you some context, we are doing is it part 4 of week 2?
Yeah, I think so. Part 4.
Yeah, so it's more of cucumber and capybara.
Oh, nice.
More cucumber.
Okay.
And yeah, so we've just made the first cucumber test pass, and we are on to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dan is driving, so we are exactly where Dan's screen is at.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to read that first paragraph.
Awesome.
In this scenario, in features guess feature, we've already provided a correct show.erb HTML file that submits the player's guess to the guess action. You already have a hang person game guess instance method that has the needed functionality. Then there's a self-check question. In game steps.rb, look at the code for I start a new game. I start a new game step, and in particular, the stub request command. Given the hint that that command is provided by a gem library called webmock, what's going on with that line, and why is it needed? Use Google if needed. The special Sinatra hash params has a key value pair for each non-blank field on a submitted form. The key is the symbolized name attribute of the form field, and the value is what the user typed into that field. Or in the case of a checkbox or a radio button, the browser specified value is indicating if it's checked or unchecked. Symbolized means the string is converted to a symbol, so foo becomes foo, symbol foo. So yeah, they're saying they've given us a hint that the stub request is provided by a gem called webmock, and they want us to understand what's going on with that line and why it's needed.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like the webmock gem helps with mocking a user login to how a user logs in.
It's talking about this right here, right?
Yeah.
This stub request.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we looked that up last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So what were you saying about webmock? It's
webmock maybe mocks. It's just something that pretends to be in the web, like it.
Yeah, you mock it. You mock a database in development. The data isn't actually there, but you can use it as a data example that you can do tests on it. It's
okay.
like simulates. It pretends to be there for test issues.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you could explain it better, but that's the simplest way I can do it. So
Simulate is the word.
Simulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's simulating using this service, but it's really just returning word. Well,
Yeah, since the word was already passed up there, so it just simulates and
to return this is simulating it to return that the call to this service is returning HTTP response with 200 and no headers and the body of word, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a look at the GitHub page, and it's very well documented here. So it's available for other languages too.
Let's see the intercepts the HTTP requests. Okay. And directed to another service. In this case, it's intercepting the post request and faking the reply value. So lets us enforce deterministic behavior of our test. Okay. The special Sinatra hash params has a key value pair for each non-blank field on a submitted form. The key is the symbolized name attribute of the form field, and the value is what the oh, you already read this, right? Sorry.
I actually thought it was part of the question and it wasn't making sense linking them together. Now I understand.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go on to the next self-check question. In your Sinatra code for processing a guess, what expression would you use to extract just the first character of what the user typed in the left field of the form in show.erb? Caution, if the user types nothing, there won't be any matching key in params, so dereferencing the form field will give no. In that case, your code should return the empty string rather than an error? Okay, so it's asking what expression should you use? Would you use to extract just the first character of what the user types? So
Actually, I think it's saying what happens when no letter is given, when no string is passed into the params array.
So
so it's asking both like you need an expression that covers either the user enters some string or does not, right?
Yeah, if it just presses
Presses the button,
the
it's
button,
just
yeah,
gonna give nil,
yeah.
nil, right?
so that it doesn't return an error, you're taking care of that case that no string is entered.
Okay, so in that case, it should return the empty. So anyone know the answer to this one?
Is it a get something for the get? Is it something like get something? Get function? HTTP get function? Maybe get method or something? I'm not sure.
we're still we're talking about the how you can get the first character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, when no character is entered.
So I've had somebody mention about an array. So I just thought of adding like how you write a square bracket, then you add a 0 to it. That's how I'd get the first character. Oh, that's a character.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work or if that's applicable here. Hmm.
Is that done in the controller? Whatever we are cracking our heads over.
It's done in the app.rb somewhere.
Do what?
It's done in the app.rb.
Yeah. App.rb is what was
App.rb. Right.
Line 48. Yeah, 41. Yours is 41.
Okay.
Why does it call it params? What it goes params?
So letter equals params guess dot toString 0. So it's saying just add in the code for what the case of not entering anything. It should be just a empty string, right?
Yes.
So can we just put letter equals empty string, or
Oh, it's already done, so. Well,
it's already done here?
yeah, the first part, but we need to go ahead. Did the guess code in the Sinatra app.rb file, you should extract the letter submitted on the form given above in the code for you. Yeah, that's the line we have. Use
Okay,
that.
but so what was the answer to the question here? In this question. Oh, I clicked on it.
Can.
I didn't. Can I just peek at it?
Yeah.
All right. Params guess or its equivalent. Okay, so that was the answer. That's what you were saying, right? What was in the app.rb?
Yeah.
2s converts to nil.
Yeah, that's
Converts nil to string. I see. So when I looked at the app.rb, it was showing the answer.
yeah. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, you said it. You explained it in your own words. That's the thing we're looking for.
Okay. So we're moving on. In the guess code, in the Sinatra app.rb file, you should extract the letter submitted on the form, use that letter as a guess on the current game, redirect to the show action so the player can see the result of their guess. So use that letter as a guess on the current game.
Okay, yeah. I need to do that too. So.
Okay.
Use that letter.
So we just do at game dot yes.
And we pass that letter. Yeah. I think so.
While you're here, read the comments in the file that give clues for future steps in the assignment. When finished, good, verify all the steps in features/guest.feature, but now pass by running Cucumber to that feature file. You see guest.feature. And all passing.
Nice.
Okay, okay. Guest feature.
Yes.
So I need to run that guest.
Sorry. Or are we on the? Did you get the same thing?
Yeah. I was just getting now. Oh, passed. Nice. Passed all of the tests. All green.
Alrighty. All right, debugging tip. The Capybara command save an open page placed in a step definition will cause a step to open a web browser window, showing what the page looks like at that point in the scenario. The functionality is provided by a gem called Launchy, which is in the gem file. To run Launchy on C9, you first need to run sudo apt-get install Iceweasel. Okay, and we're done with part 4.
Yep. Nice.
All right, so I think we were gonna leave it off there, right, for today, as far as the homework too.
Yeah, because I think we've already taken close to 2.5 hours, which is too long for a call. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So just curious, I don't remember from last time, Mike and Faith, did y'all finish the homework too?
No.
Not yet.
And
Where are y'all at?
just right where you are.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm not so sure where I am, but I'm somewhere.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
So many stuff to do.
Yeah.
Did
So also,
Faith, did you work on it like on your own, or
No, I haven't.
Okay, so just wherever we left off Sundays, where you are.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess some Mike and Faith, y'all are on this same part.
Yeah, nice. So
also, I think Faith, you didn't see. Dan did some very nice work with the word without guesses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Let me see.
Dan, you can show off.
What was it that I did?
Your word without guesses method.
yeah,
He just did one line of code, so one line.
yeah,
Well, did I close it? Guess so.
It's
Homework. Hangperson.game. There it is.
Yep.
Oh, here it is. Okay, word with guesses. Here's my word with guesses.
So he got that
nice.
method.
Why is there this? Oh, I have another workspace open. That's why it's showing this little orange thing. But it looks better without the. Yeah, so I use this gsub method, the string method gsub, to get this in one line, and all it does is it substitutes a dash wherever the word matches this regular expression.
Nice.
And the regular expression is just it's just a character class with guesses. So anytime the letters and guesses, it will, or rather, anytime that the letter is not in guesses string, it will replace it with this dash. And that's what it turns. And then also this \W is because the first time I had it without \W like this. So now it's just a character class with not guesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the guesses is empty, this is an invalid regular expression. So
Yeah.
it throws an error instead of replacing anything with the dashes. So I just threw in a character that's definitely not going to be in Word,
Mm-hmm.
any character. So like we know that a non-word character is not going to be in Word. So we can go ahead and throw that in to make it a valid class. And now anytime that there's either a non-word character or not a non-word character, not a character that's in guesses, then it'll replace with a dash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very nice.
Really?
Thank you.
I've got this same, but I might throw in an exception when I call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could show it to you. Like this one. Yeah. Okay, I need to run it. It's just so the method's working. It's just the exception is thrown when I do not enter a string. When I did not enter a string.
Have
you
I
tried
wonder
that?
if that's... No, I have not. So I need to
cover the case when nothing is entered.
We add and do all those steps again. So we have to commit, do that git add and git commit before we run the thing every time, or does that?
I'm just pushing to git so it works. No.
Push Heroku master is all I need.
Heroku master, yeah. When you run it from Heroku with that URL, this one is working. I can check that too.
Can you do git status and see if you have anything that needs to be committed? Because I think maybe you didn't push the change that we made.
Up to.
Oh wait, no.
Edit or.
Yeah, it's modified app.rb, and I need to push it.
Yeah, but first you had to commit those changes and then to your local, and then probably had to.
I need. Yeah, somebody knows the solution for this. I had two-factor authentication, and I always need to add a special token that I can push, and it's not stored. So I need to push. I need to add the token code. Now it's pushed. And now I need to run it.
Did you add it? And commit.
Okay. Git add.
Check the status first. I didn't see it. So you need to add it.
Yeah, git add master.
Now you're supposed to add the changes of whatever is in that file. So git add dot to add everything.
Git add dot.
Or GST. Okay. Status. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So git commit them. -m. Yeah.
I added nothing, so deletion. Okay.
Git push.
Yeah. I need to enter my credentials all the time. And I need to get a workaround because of two-factor authentication on Git. Yeah.
So mine's actually worse. It's not even doing the guess part. It's not even processing the guess.
Okay. We can debug it.
Is it working? Yeah.
I can try it.
So mine says your branch is ahead of origin/master by 2 commits.
So you need to pull.
So what do I
Maybe you need to push.
git push? Well, I think I just did it though. Did git push Heroku master? Is that
Failed.
hard? Huh?
It failed.
Oh, it failed.
Yeah, I see an error. Failed to push.
It just branches behind.
Oh,
So you need to git pull.
before pushing again. So how do I?
Just, git pull. With that remote.
What?
Okay. First, git pull. Just git pull. Do that. Nothing happens. If you do you have a remote for? But I didn't do that before pushing again.
Added action to new.rb. That's where I should be.
If you do git remote -b.
Failed to push over. The tip of your current branch is behind. Git pull.
What remote do you have?
Remote.
Git remote.
Integrate. Git pull Heroku. I guess the Heroku is the remote, right? Or
Mike, you're saying something.
Yeah, I was just asking if you could check on his remotes.
check on what?
The remotes that you have for your repo. Maybe you do git remote -v.
-v.
Yes, verbose. So you have Heroku and Origin, and
So is it talking about? It's got to be.
So, or do git pull Heroku master, because why else would you be behind Heroku master?
yeah, that's weird.
But how could I be?
Seems you are.
Who's making changes to my Heroku besides me?
So
Yeah.
just exit. It's escape.
Oops, sorry.
I think save is better. Yes.
Okay.
This is Nano.
Okay.
So that's that thing. And then try again.
It worked?
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I don't understand Git.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your master branch on Heroku had commits that you didn't have locally. So you had to pull it, then merge it, then now push. But yeah.
All right. Let me show you how I hang person master.
You're so bad at guessing.
All right.
Ish.
I will guess F. Free.
Nice. Free.
No, freeze.
Freeze.
F.
Right now. C.
Oh, ARF.
ARF.
Hold on. Let me just guess nothing.
Okay.
Internal server error. So mine's doing the same thing.
Yeah, mine is putting this trace.
So I think we had determined that the code was already in there to handle an empty string, but maybe you need to look at that.
Yeah, maybe that has to be implemented as well. You can see
This.
Let's wait. FRV.
I'm just going to stop the broadcast so that you don't get to 3 hours.
No, don't stop it.
Oh.
What happens when I want to refer to? Because I'm pretty sure I'll rewatch this.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you want to stop and start another and record another one.
No, it's fine.
For the sake of reference.
So, well, what's the recommendation at the moment? That we not get this error. Oh, I have the stack here. I can share it.
Params guess dot 2s or its equivalent 2s converts nil to the empty string. So it's saying that this is correct. The answer.
I can make it bigger.
But why are we getting the error?
What's in the guess method? It says line 16. Argument error. That's the problem.
Are all your RSpec tests possible?
Raise argument error.
When
Okay.
no.
So this is what we. This is what our app is supposed to do. We remember in the spec for the guess method, it asked us to raise an argument error if we got an empty string, or
Yeah.
we
Okay.
guessed something that was repeated. So let me go back. Let's try the other use case that raises an argument error. What was the other use case? Oh yeah, entering a symbol.
Okay.
So we're starting a new hang person Diddy game.
Yeah, symbol the same.
Let me guess percent.
Yeah.
Internal server error. That's what it should be.
It should be like this.
Argument error. So how do you get the output?
When I enter a symbol or nothing, I get this output.
How did you get the, or why is mine only giving the
Which browser do you use?
internal? This is Chrome.
Okay, so mind you, it's Brave, just Chrome, like Chrome. Guess.
You're a brave man.
Yeah. Awesome, Brave. Check it out. Good.
Okay.
Just Chrome derivative.
Okay. Well,
Here it is empty post, guess empty.
Now I want to play a game.
Value. Okay. All right.
Start out with the vowels. Always start with the vowels.
W is for vowel.
S is always good.
S.
S is always one
String.
of the top most frequent in the English language. R is not in there.
Okay, so we don't need to fix it if we enter a symbol. So it should throw an error message.
Yeah, it should. I mean, as far as what we've done so far.
Okay. What is a hard word? M.
M? Oh no. No. T. I already guessed T. N. Oh no. I still don't know what this is. I don't know this word.
Essence.
No. C.
Essence. It's
S, already guessed.
S.
S is already entered.
S is already guessed.
Oh, so
we
you
can,
just
we
checked
could
for
test it out.
one, or it checks for X sense? Aliens.
F.
Offense.
Offense.
Yeah.
X sense. X.
Oh no, I'm gonna lose. Wait a minute. I lost. That's 7.
Oh.
X sense. X. No, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
Oh.
X pence. Oh my god.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yep.
Well. I think it's good for today.
Yeah.
So how about tomorrow? Or we
Yep.
meeting tomorrow?
Yep. Same time, and then we proceed from where we've left.
Yeah, keep the momentum going. Things good.
Okay.
I hear somebody wants your attention, Mike.
They want to join the
Yeah. Yeah. Someone was doing the course. Yeah. So maybe that's it for today.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll try keep time tomorrow.
Yeah. 2 hours. 2 hours paid. You do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I'll just stop the broadcast.